Hey everybody, it's Jenni Grover with chronicbabe.com and the lovely people here at Fibromyalgia Inspiration asked me to come back. I did one of these live chats with you, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And so I thought I'd come back and we would talk about making it through the holidays when you have fibromyalgia or other chronic pain or chronic illness conditions. So I am going to jump in and make sure that I can answer your questions. So I have my laptop here and I will be monitoring your questions mostly on the laptop because that's how I can see your questions. Last time when we did this, it was so great. So many people came on and it was really, really busy and your questions just flew by on my little phone. So having my laptop here helps me make sure that I'm not missing your questions at all. So let me make sure that I'm watching myself. I will mute myself. There we go. So I see a few of you have joined. Hey, Kirian. Hey, Paul. I see a couple familiar names. Thanks for that nice welcome. I really appreciate it. So, all right, we got technology working. This is good. Right at the last minute, Paul and I were having a little tech issue on my end, but we got it sorted because that's how we do. So again, I'm Jenni Grover. I'm with chronicbabe.com. And let me give you a little bit of an intro about who I am and why the folks at this page asked me to come talk to you today. So, hey, Paul. Also, I have a little bit of a dry throat today. So I'm going to be hydrating. I'm sure you don't mind. It's part of our self-care. I know y'all do it too. So I have been living with fibromyalgia for 20 years. I got diagnosed when I was 25 and it just completely rocked my world. Like, not in a cool way. It completely devastated me. It changed everything about my life. And for a long time, I really didn't know how I was going to survive and how I was going to have a career and have successful relationships and make new friends and stuff. Hey, Valerie. So it took a while, but I finally started to figure out how to do it. And because I love service, hey, Michelle, I started blogging and writing about my experience and trying to give voice to other women and people who live with the condition like we do and with lots of other chronic conditions. Because what I found was that a lot of the things that help us if we have fibromyalgia are the same things that help people with so many other conditions. Hey, everybody. It's so nice when everybody's saying hi. You're welcome, Valerie. I'm so happy to be here. So I've been doing Chronic Babe for 12 years, and I've been writing and speaking and talking about what it's like to live with fibromyalgia and other chronic conditions. So as you may not know, I have fibro, but I also have asthma, depression, anxiety. Hey, Amanda, thank you. Acid reflux, rosacea, Raynaud's phenomenon, hypothyroid. It's like a total party in this body. Things are so crazy in this body. There's a lot going on here, but fibromyalgia is like the main thing that I have. So I started to feel like I could learn how to still be a really kick-ass person, even though I was sick. Because at first I didn't think that was going to be possible. And in fact, like so many people, and you may have experienced this, so many people told me that it wouldn't be possible and that I would, be in a wheelchair, which at the time sounded like a nightmare. And now I understand that you can have a terrific life and still be in a wheelchair, but I didn't know that then. And that wasn't how it was presented to me. And I was also told that I would have to stop working and I would never be able to do certain things and I wouldn't be able to travel. And basically everybody was telling me, your life is over. Here are all the things you're never going to be able to do. And I'm a pretty feisty person. And so after a while, I kind of got sick of being told what I wouldn't be able to do. And I was not game for that. So I was really happy to push back against those expectations. And that's how Chronic Babe came to be, this idea that we can have chronic illness and still be babes. And we can be young and still be vibrant. And we can get older and still be vibrant. I mean, I'm 40, almost 45 now. Valerie, that's so nice. Thank you so much. She said, I'm a beautiful soul. Thank you. I really thought at the time that my life was going to be over. And I feel like now my work with Chronic Babe is like more vital than it's ever been. So it's pretty exciting to get to do this stuff. So if you're just joining me, I see a ton of people are joining. My name is Jenni Grover. I'm with Chronic Babe, and I'm here today to talk about the holidays. Before we do that, one thing I forgot to get. Don't go away. I'm totally still here. I am going to come back to you. Hello. I wrote a book, and it's called Chronic Babe 101. And it's like a masterclass in how to be an incredible, vital, successful human being if you have chronic illness. So I know it's backwards on your screen. Nothing I can do about that. But check it out. I'll put a link in the comments so you can check it out. It makes a great holiday gift to yourself, to other sick people that you know. If you have an Amazon wish list, it's for sale on Amazon and you can put it on your wish list. Maybe Santa will bring it to you for Christmas. Maybe it'll be in your stocking. Maybe it'll be under your Hanukkah bush. I mean, I don't know. How you celebrate is up to you. But anyway, this is the thing I just wanted to remind you about. So Melissa says it's all about keeping positive energy flowing through your body. The mind is so powerful. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's completely right on the money. I wanted to talk to you about a few of the things that I think are so important about thriving during the holidays. Pip says she doesn't have fibro, but she has endometriosis. That's cool. The stuff I'm going to talk about will work for you too. So don't worry about it. One of the things that I think really helps me is humor. And a woman emailed me this today and said she couldn't be on the live chat, but she wanted to share a cool game she and her family came up with. So the game is called Dead Santa. And you play by watching for holiday displays that have gone awry and texting a picture of it to other players to receive points. I am so psyched about this game. So you get points awarded for dead Santas. Those are like deflated lawn Santas that have fallen down. Those are 6 points. A dead other is anything else like reindeer falling on their sides or deflated snowmen or whatever. 5 points. 4 points for the very wrong Santa, like missing pieces or falling over. 3 points for the very wrong other. So maybe a reindeer's missing an antler or a broken candy cane, stuff like that. 2 points for slightly wrong Santa and 1 point for slightly wrong other. And slightly wrong means things like wilted poinsettias. Now, come on, that seems a little nitpicky. Lights falling down. Okay, so this is a game that I think we can all play with our friends and family. And this is a way to incorporate humor. So maybe when you're traveling around and you're looking at holiday displays, like I love to go look at, holiday lights with my husband and drive around. If you see a fallen Santa or, maybe there's some stuff in really bad taste or something super hilarious, I really encourage you to play this game that this woman emailed us because I think it's hilarious. So that was fun. I'm pretending to be Stephen Colbert and just throw stuff over my shoulder. It's really fun to create stuff like that. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about first is creating new traditions. And I'm wondering, this is a tradition that this woman created to like boost her sense of humor and keep her and her family laughing. I'm wondering if you have any new traditions that you've created that help you manage your illness. Because I will tell you that like I have a hard time with my energy level during the holidays, and driving around looking at Christmas lights when someone else is driving is one of the best things that I do during the holiday season because it lifts my spirit. It's something we can do with friends or family or kiddos or whoever. And it's joyful and it can be hilarious. And Valerie says, yes, me too. That's great. So I love that tradition. And I think this Dead Santa game is a great new tradition that I'm going to form. I think when we have chronic pain and chronic illness like fibromyalgia and other conditions, we are often forced to create new traditions. We're forced to come up with different ways to celebrate. Debbie, they play a game, what crazy word will come out of my mom's mouth? I would love to see a list of the words that come out of her mouth that you get points for, because that's pretty hilarious. That's a good like secret game to play with your spouse or your friends or your kids or whatever, or your cousins. I think creating those new traditions is really important. So actually right behind me, you'll see this tiny pink tinsel tree. Hey Gladys, hi, I'm so happy you're here. Gladys is one of my members in my membership program, and we have so much fun and we learn so much stuff together. She's the best. So this tree behind me is a great example of a new tradition. Debbie says she'll text me. Okay, good. I want to hear all about it. This is a new tradition for me because I used to love to get a real tree and I wanted that real tree smell. But my body is not psyched about bending down and getting on the floor every day and watering. Hey, Adrian. And so I came up with this tradition of having little cute trees in sprinkled all over in my office. So in my house, I mean. So this is my office. You're in Chronic Babe HQ. You can see behind me on the wall, I do a lot of crafting, so I have a color wheel and stuff like that. But this is my office Christmas tree. It's my corporate Christmas decorations. And I'm a Buddhist, so I honor the Christmas traditions and the spirit of the season, and I have a lot of Christian friends, and I respect their faith and where they're coming from. And while that's not part of my tradition, the decorating is part of my tradition. So another thing we do is I love to decorate, but it's also really tiring. And so we always have a party where we invite over a bunch of friends and their little kids. Got something in my eye. And thanks, Debbie. And we decorate together, and I let them decorate all the trees in the house. So if you go to my Chronic Babe Facebook page, and actually let me put the link to it in here for you. If you go to my Chronic Babe Facebook page, you will see I recently did a live video where I did a little tour around my house, and I showed people where all the different trees were, because I have 6. But they're mostly all small like this. This is like 1.5 feet tall. I mean, they're teeny. But it's really fun to have people come over and decorate. And that's a great new tradition that I have. And again, that was born out of partly, needing more help to put up all the decorations and also wanting to share that with people. So it's super fun. It's a great way to kick off the season. We do it like a couple days after Thanksgiving. And all the kids do all the decorating. So all the work... almost all the work somebody else is doing, and I get to really enjoy myself. So I hope that you're open to creating new traditions. I know that sometimes we can feel like we're not able to enjoy ourselves or do all the things that we want to do during the holidays when we have chronic pain and chronic illness, and it's important to come up with other ways or new ways or variations on a way to celebrate. So for me, again, it's like driving around looking at the lights. I'm definitely going to play that Dead Santa game. If you're coming into the video now and you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the beginning after, because one of my readers sent in a great game that she wanted me to share with everybody, and it's super funny. And decorating all over in my house in little ways, because also I'm home all the time and I'm not out and about on the streets all the time, and I'm not in an office all the time. So I don't get some of that like holiday cheer that we might get from being around other people a lot. And so having it sprinkled around in my house really helps me stay upbeat and stay excited about the season. So even on big flare-up days, like the last couple of days were big flare-up days for me. I was stuck on the couch in my pajamas, but I still could walk around into my house and enjoy some pretty lights. And that is really thanks to friends who came over and helped. Michelle says, last year I gave in and got an artificial snow-flocked tree. That is great, Michelle. Way to treat yourself. And it was the best thing I ever did, she says. This year I've been too unwell to decorate and my family is sick, but I will be trying some of your tips this year, especially humor. Great. I love it. Michelle, you know I love humor. You know I love to goof around. So I think it's super important. So that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about, is creating new traditions. Kind of aligned with that is boundaries. So I talk about boundaries a lot in my work. There's actually a whole chapter on it in my book. And again, I'll put the link to the book in here, so you can go check it out. And actually, let me grab that for you so it's handy. Whoops. Okay, so here's the link, and so that's where you can go online and buy the book or check it out. There's a ton of free resources that go with it too, so it's not just about buying the book. You can also get an ebook version of it. You don't have to get the print, although I think the print is really fun, and you get to write in the print one. Anyway, boundaries. There's a whole chapter on it in my book, but what I want to talk to you about briefly today is how important they are and how essential they are when we have health conditions like fibromyalgia that tax our central nervous system. They can be really exhausting. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you know exactly what that feels like. Lori asks, do your upper arms hurt? Yeah, sometimes, but I get it more in my hands. This is like where it lives a lot. This and my hips. I think it's so important to have good boundaries with your family and your friends. So whoever you're spending your holidays with. So I'm going to say family as a catch-all. Maybe you're spending it with friends. Maybe it's a combo. Maybe it's family. I don't know if that's a word. I think I just made that up. Whoever you're spending the holidays with, it's really important to have good boundaries. And boundaries can be really hard to set with family, especially like blood family who've known you forever, because they may have a certain idea about how you're supposed to be or about how a holiday tradition has been this whole time and you're supposed to live up to that or do it the same way. It's really hard at the holidays because people have a really solid, cemented idea of what it's supposed to be like. And that's not necessarily how it's going to go. So it's going to be a transition for you if you've not really worked on setting boundaries with people before. It's not the easiest thing sometimes. You can really overdo it. So I like to set really gentle boundaries when I'm starting with somebody, as long as they're not being like unsafe. Okay. If somebody's just being a jerk or they don't understand or they're not respecting your limits, especially when it comes to energy and physical health, if you are stuck with that and you're really struggling, it's really important to set boundaries with people. So some examples of boundaries might be family members may say, we're all going to go caroling and you need to come with us. And you might want to say, you know, I love caroling, but I am exhausted and I would really prefer to stay here at the house and hand out hot cocoa to carolers who come by. And so when you frame it like that, you're not just saying no, you're saying, okay, well, I'm not going to do it that way, but I'm going to do it this way. Or you might want to say to them, it's really hard for me to go caroling and walk around so much. I wonder if we could drive to a place and carol there and kind of stay in one place. That would help me save my energy. If you can start to negotiate some of those things with your family, your friends and family, it can really help you manage your energy and minimize your pain. And that is really important. The same thing goes with like, let's say your family wants to have an 8-hour party. They're like, let's have an open house at our house. We're going to let everybody come over. We're just going to open the house all day and evening. And, you know, we kind of expect you to be on for everybody the whole time. Well, I can't be on for 8 hours. I would crash halfway through the party. So again, that's a good opportunity for you to remind your family gently, you know, my energy levels are not going to allow me to hang out for a really long party like that. So I would like to stay quiet in my room for the first part of the party and then come out for a few hours and hang out with people. And then I'll probably retire to my room and like read a book or put my earplugs in or listen to music and just rest, because that's what I'm going to need to do to take care of my health. And they may not like it and they may not understand it. They probably really won't understand it unless they have a chronic condition like we do. And it may be awkward and uncomfortable. And this might be the first holiday season where you set boundaries like that and they get pissed. They might be really pissed. I mean, I have family members who like 20 years later still don't understand boundaries I've been trying to set with them. So part of boundary setting is for you to get clear about what you need and what you can and want to do or give, and getting clear about that for yourself first and foremost, and then speaking with your friends and family about how you're going to manage your energy and what that boundary is going to look like. And definitely do not go, I'm setting a boundary with you. Because that will make people feel awkward and weird. So don't do that. Okay. I did that when I was first learning about boundaries. I would say to people, I'd be like, listen, I need to set a boundary with you. And basically you're going like, I don't like you, step off. Right? So you know you're setting a boundary. You don't have to spell it out for them in that way, but you need to gently say to them, this is what I need, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what's healthy for me. And especially if you can tell them why if you can give them a framework for why it's healthy for you and why you need it, that's really helpful. And when you do that, you're teaching them how to treat you, and you're teaching them what works for you. And they're learning about the fact that people are different from them, or that we change and evolve, whether we get sick or not. We're always changing. We're always evolving, right? So it may feel weird. It may be awkward and uncomfortable, but I really encourage you to try it. I wonder if anybody on right now has set boundaries with family before, if you've tried to do that. I can talk about one other boundary. Well, I'll talk about my favorite boundary, and it's caller ID. When caller ID first came out, it was like a little box that you had to buy, and I paid like a monthly fee. I don't know. My back really hurts today, so I'm getting set up here. Antoinette says, no, you mean no, you've never set a boundary? Okay, you're going to get some practice. Caller ID, when it first came out, was like a little box. Probably some of you remember this, and you would hook it up to your phone, and then it would show the phone number of who was calling. And I remember it was such a revelation, because there were people that I didn't want to talk to, that I could just not take their call. Now we totally take that for granted, because most of the time on cell phones or other devices, we can see exactly who's calling, and we don't even think about it. But back in the day, that was a brand new thing. And I remember that I had one family member who just insisted on, hey, Leanne says this is her first holiday setting boundaries, and so she's taking in all the tips. Good. So, and Antoinette says her sister thinks she can do everything. Well, so this is the thing to understand about boundaries is like some family members, and I have a family member like this, who they feel like if they can do something, then you should be able to do something. And they can't figure out why that is impossible. And so they kind of project onto you. Well, if I can accomplish this, then you can. And that's not really accurate. You're individuals. So setting boundaries is going to be important. I see that Lori Fisher says, yeah, caller ID. She can't deal with her mom's drama. Yeah, I nobody want your mama's drama. I feel you. Pip says, my family understands endometriosis and they always say not to overdo it, but I always overdo it and make myself worse. Okay, so this is where boundaries are important for you too. So I said before, it's really important for you to get really, really clear about what you can do and what you can give and what's possible for you, so that you can set boundaries with the people around you. But you've got to start with yourself. So Pip, if you know that you need to stop at a certain point, then you need to set that boundary with yourself first, okay? I know you can do it. It's going to take some practice. And sometimes we don't want to accept that we have to set a limit on ourselves. I like to think about it in the broader scheme, which is that if I set a limit for myself for a certain kind of activity, it means I can do other activities. So if I set a limit for myself, let's say the caroling example, I can't go caroling for 4 hours and walk around outside in the cold and sing. Maybe I can go for 1 hour. And it's not that I go for 1 hour and I'm miserable about it. I try to go for that 1 hour and really enjoy it, and then go home and relax. And then when my family comes home from the rest of their caroling, I'm in really good shape, and then I can hang out with them. So when you're setting boundaries, it's also important to explain what the results are going to be. So you can say, I can't go caroling for 4 hours. I can go for 1 and then come home. When I do that, that means I can rest. And then when you guys come home, I'll have energy to hang out with you. So you're almost like baiting them. You're not baiting, but you're like, I don't know, you're enticing them. You're letting them know why that boundary is being set, and also what they're going to get out of it and what you're going to get out of it. Yeah, Pip says that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm biased. Jackie says, I have to set boundaries and write lists every day of what I can complete. If I can't get it done, there's always tomorrow. That is so true. Michelle says, I have a much harder time setting boundaries with myself. Almost 20 years later, I still have a hard time with pacing. I am so with you. I am also a work in progress. I think we all are. Pacing is really essential. So is hydration during the winter season, especially when you're talking a lot. Actually, I'm really not kidding. So Marie asked, how do you cope with pain? This is one of the ways I cope with pain. People tell you to drink 8 glasses of water a day. I drink 16. Like I chug a lug all day long. And yeah, I have to pee like every hour, which is inconvenient, but I feel so much better when I drink so much water. So if you are not drinking a lot of water, I'm telling you, add a glass a day, a couple times a day for starters, and build up, because your body will thank you. You feel so much better. That is a big way I cope with pain. Kathy says, I'm just learning my boundaries, having a nice chat with my family, letting me know things I can attend and not attend, that they are very supportive. That's great. I love to hear it. That's fantastic. So to come back to Marie's question about coping with pain, I want to mention that, during the holidays, a lot of things can really flare up our pain. So there's travel, there's hosting events or going to events. You may be out and about shopping or running errands more than you usually are. You may be traveling and sleeping in a bed that's not yours, so things are uncomfortable or weird or not what you would want them to be. So I've learned a bunch of things I want to share with you. So first, when I'm traveling, when we take a driving trip, for example, we're going to Cleveland. Kathy says she's drinking mineral water because it's really good and it has magnesia in it. That's interesting. Marie says she drinks 9 bottles of water. You're right. It helps. Thank you. Yeah, I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. So when you're traveling, I always carry my own bottle of water and keep refilling it. I always try to, my car, I've worked with an occupational therapist to make it ergonomically correct for me. So I have all these cushions, like a butt cushion and a back cushion, and a big cushy thing around my wheel so I don't have to grip the wheel really hard. This is really important for really long driving trips, which a lot of us are taking over the holidays. So I put all those into place, and then if I'm not going to be driving my car, I bring those with me, which can mean that you might pack an extra suitcase, which kind of sucks when you have to pay to send your suitcase. If you're traveling with another person, you may want to try to squeeze it into their suitcase or put them in between your both of your bags. But I bring all that stuff with me. You could bring an inflatable back pillow, and that's what I use in the car, so I can deflate it and roll it up really small and put it in my purse. And that way, when I travel to visit family, I always have that lumbar support with me for no matter what I do. Even like right now, I'm adjusting a lumbar support on this chair in my office. It's super important to my health. I also make sure that I'm taking lots of breaks. And so when I'm traveling, I always set a bunch of timers on my phone to remind myself to take breaks. Because when you're out of your routine, you forget some of those things you normally would do. Like when I'm working on my computer, which is right over here, I have a timer set to go off every 20 minutes to tell me to take a 2-minute break for my hands and to stand up and move around and stuff. And when I'm traveling at the holidays, especially, you get excited, you're around all these people, it's really fun, you get distracted, and you may forget to take breaks like that. And so you may need to set a recurring timer on your phone for every 2 hours to take a break. And you won't have to do that the rest of your life, but you may need to do it this season to just help you get into that habit. And it may seem like overkill right now, and maybe it is for you, but honestly, like I mean, taking a break every 20 minutes from writing, when I'm a writer and I work all day, when I feel well, I work all day. At first I thought that was crazy and I would never do it and it wouldn't work, and it totally works, because what happens is I take the breaks and then I'm able to work a lot longer for the rest of the day. So that kind of goes back to that pacing question that Michelle was saying, like it's really hard to pace yourself. And especially when you're celebrating and you're with people that you love, or maybe people you haven't seen, it can be really hard to say, I've got to pace myself. You guys keep having fun. I'm going to go lie down. That can feel like crap. I totally feel you. So you've got to honor yourself. This is your life and your bod and your heart and soul and your mind, and you are worth it. You have to set those boundaries. Kim says she hosted her family Christmas party and overdid it. You've been in bed since Monday. I'm sorry. I hope you can get up and out and take a short walk, like something, because sometimes just getting the blood moving, really get the blood flow going, really helps. And sometimes, I know for me, if I stay in bed too long, I get really depressed. I am already prone to depression and I have to work with it all the time. And so I have put a lot of things into place to help me with that. Antoinette says she can't deal with long drives. Your legs and back hurt bad. Yeah, me too. So when we drive, like I said, I set up all the ergonomic stuff. I have the butt cushion, the back cushion, the steering wheel cushion. I also, if I'm going to take a long drive, I make sure I have another person in the car with me that I can switch off. We take a lot of breaks. We're going for Christmas to my in-laws in Cleveland, from Chicago to Cleveland. It's like a 6-hour drive. I think for a lot of people, it's a 5-hour drive. For me, it's like a 6.5-hour drive because I take breaks like every hour and a half. I find a rest stop, or we always look for cool places to go off-road, like, off the highway, 10 miles or something. And I will take a walk, like even if it's a walk around an outlet mall, even if I'm not buying anything, just to move my legs and my back and stuff. I also do airport yoga and rest stop yoga. So I know a bunch of yoga poses and stretches, and I am not above like getting on the floor at the airport and doing stretching and yoga because it makes me feel so much better and it makes it doable. So yeah, people might look at you a little funny, but who cares? Because you're making your holidays possible, right? Melanie says, I grocery shop one day and I don't cook until the next day. And my sister doesn't get that, but I get plantar fasciitis and peripheral neuropathy. Yeah, so you definitely have to take good care of yourself. And I'm glad you're pacing yourself in that way. And listen, I know from family not getting it. Some family members just aren't going to get it. And you've got to get okay with that because you're taking the best care of yourself. And that is just not for the holidays. That's a lesson for life, right? So I'm glad you're doing that. Antoinette says she's also got plantar fasciitis and peripheral. Wait, everybody, maybe I'm reading the two comments. I think I merged two comments together. Whoopsie. We'll just chalk that up to fibro fog. It's been a few long days of flare-ups for me. So anyway, again, we're about halfway through and I want to remind people, if you just joined us, I'm Jenni Grover. I'm with chronicbabe.com. I've got a website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, all over the place. And I recently wrote a book. It's called Chronic Babe 101. It is your how-to guide to be a chronic babe, and it says how to craft an incredible life beyond illness. It's packed with all kinds of expert interviews. Like this is my friend Kevin, who's a pharmacist. It's a great piece about how to make friends with pharmacists. I've got a sexuality expert, Evian. She's fantastic. There's all these little pop quizzes in it, little lessons for you. So check it out. I put the link in the comments. I really hope you like it. I'll put the link in the comments again right now. It's something that I made for y'all. I hope you like it. Kathy says, I was told to do a little yoga. It seems like if I do anything overexerting, I'm so sore. Does this really help? Because I've been wanting to try, but I don't want to feel the hurt. So yeah, I do yoga a lot, and all kinds of other, stretching. If you jump in and go to a 90-minute yoga class, a lot of yoga classes are 75 minutes or 90 minutes. Yeah, you're probably going to hurt like crap the next day or for many days. And I have definitely been to my share of yoga classes where I came home and was sidelined for a few days. The key is to work with an instructor that is recommended by someone that you trust. So maybe that's someone in a support group or one of your doctors or a friend, or you go and read a bunch of reviews from them. Someone who understands that you need accommodations or variations on different poses, because there might be some poses you can't get into. Like there's tons of poses I can't do, but there's plenty of variations. A good yoga instructor will show you those variations. It's also really important to pace yourself. So I do not like to go to a 90-minute yoga class. It's too much for me. I like to do about 25 minutes every morning and a little bit in the afternoon. And so I like services, like there's a service called Cody, C-O-D-Y, and I'll just put it in the comments. You can go to the Cody, you can look up the Cody yoga app. They have a subscription service. There are a lot of great teachers on there. And if you look through it, you'll see that there's yoga for people with disabilities and yoga for every size body. There's a bunch of classes on there that are really great. And if you take those at home, you can pace yourself. So you could try like 10 minutes and see how you feel the next day. And that is a really important thing. Again, a lot of this is about pacing, right? So much about coping during the holidays too is about pacing. It's about making sure that you are taking breaks, that you're doing things in like bite-sized chunks. So you may feel like you want to cook batches of cookies for 50 people and give everybody a dozen cookies. Well, girl, that is like not possible. I don't know anybody who can really do that. It's really important to pace yourself. So like this might be the year where you say, I'm scaling it back. 10 people are getting a dozen cookies, or I'm scaling it back. Everybody gets half a dozen cookies, or whatever. Oh, Heather, it's really nice. Heather says, I look so great. I wish I looked that good. You know what? I bet you're beautiful. I bet you got it going on. Everybody looks different. Listen, if I get real close up on here, I'm like, oh, look at those lines, but whatever, they're laugh lines. Kirian says, I meant to say as a boundary modification type thing, does moving 1,500 miles away from the cuckoo bunnies count? Yes, it does. There's a reason that I live where I do. It's a boundary. Cheryl says, it's snowing and cold. Fibromyalgia has shown its ugly face. I try to keep a smile on just for Joshua and Noah. Maybe those are your kids or your dogs or your friends. I don't know. You're in your PJs lying down. I just can't keep up. Am I normal? Yeah. I mean, I think normal is a relative term. You know, I think that on some days I feel really abnormal or like a freak because I can't keep up. And then I'll talk to I'll talk to a girlfriend about it and she'll be like, I was in bed all day yesterday. So I think normal is not a word that helps us. Oh, thanks, Kirian. Yes. Fist bump. We just had a cold front come through Chicago and I was flared up so bad for a couple days. I could barely use my hands. Oh, Joshua and Noah are your sons. Okay, thanks, Cheryl. Heather says she can feel the snow coming. Yeah, there's snow coming tonight. I can feel it too. That can be really hard on our bodies, just like seasons changing is really hard. And I think that that's really important to remember during the holidays too. If you're in North America, maybe not if you're in Australia on the other side of the globe, but if you're over here, it means weather changes. It means weather-related changes to your body and things that you're struggling with. Heather says we're more normal than we think. Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, Velva, I hear you. Cheryl, yes, that's normal. I've spent most of November in bed. Oh, Michelle, I have my arms around you. Wendy says it's hard to be the once active person, wife, mom, and I used to be so hard when my boys are so young and I push myself and then I'm suffering for days. That's right. So that's a really tough one. I'm not a parent. I'm an auntie to a handful of kids, but I'm not a parent. I know that it's really, really hard to set those boundaries with them and teach them. But I will say that I know a lot of friends who've grown up with parents who had chronic illness and disability, and the people that are the most well-adjusted and amazing allies for us and advocates are people whose parents just gently taught them over the years, like, listen, you know, I know you want to be able to do all this. This is my boundary. This is my limit. Here's how we're going to work around it, or here's what we're going to do instead. Or I can't go Christmas caroling with you, or I can't go to the zoo and walk around for 5 hours, but my best friend will take you. Like, I take my best friend's kids to do stuff just mostly because I like to hang out with them. They're just fun. Heather says her daughter's 20 now and in college. She's super understanding. Yeah, I think when you're really honest and frank with people, I think that most people are understanding. It's hardest with family, and it's usually hardest with family that are like your parents or your siblings, people who've known you for a long time, and they see that transition and they don't understand it because they just don't know what that feels like. And so they're confused and they're frustrated, and maybe you haven't articulated very clearly what you need or want because you don't understand yet how to do that, which is totally understandable. That's why we're having this conversation today, because I want you to start practicing asserting yourself. I think that's super duper important. Now, in my membership group, excuse me, I run a membership group through Chronic Babe, and every month we focus on a different topic. And for November and December, we've been talking about the holidays. And one thing that I've had everybody do both months is send me their holiday wish list. So I want you to think about your holiday wish list. I want you to think about the things that you want to get out of this holiday season. I want you to think a little bit abstractly and maybe a little bit specifically too. So for me, there were things like, I want to see pretty lights. I want to spend time with my friends and my friends' kids. I want to eat cookies, but not too many. And I reserve the right to decide what is too many in the moment. I want to have safe travels. I want to rest. I want to feel peaceful. It's like, that's my holiday wish list, right? When you are clear about what you want, and what is important to you, it's way easier to set boundaries with people. It's way easier to ask for what you want and ask for what you need when you are first clear with yourself. But it takes a very specific intentional moment of getting clear with yourself about what your highest priority things are. So I want you to give that a shot. In fact, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Kirian, if you're still on, maybe you can lead people. I'd love to hear what you most want to get out of this holiday season, because I want you to be prioritizing those like top, 3 or 5 things. Now, Candace says, my fiance can tell when I'm in pain and in tears. He asks me what he can do to help me and what can I tell him. So that is a thing that takes practice. I am in my second and final marriage. And it has taken a lot of practice to get accustomed to telling my husband what I need. Karen says, what you need. That's right. I think that we need to be very clear about our needs with the people who love us and take care of us. And that's our husbands, our wives, our girlfriends, our boyfriends, our family members, like our best friends, all those people, right? Candace, when your fiance can tell that you're really struggling, I want you to think about what is the most simple and clear thing that you can ask for in that moment that will help bring you a little bit of peace. Because he's not going to be able to make the pain go away. He's not going to maybe be able to alleviate all your fear or concerns. Can he give you a gentle hug? Can he rub your feet? Can he bring you a glass of water? Can he tell you a joke? Can he put your favorite sci-fi movie on the DVR? I mean, think about what the smallest, most simple, but meaningful thing is he could do in that moment. And that's what I want you to ask for first. So when you're really struggling and your fiance can tell, first of all, actually, let me back that up, because if you're really struggling and you say he can tell, I actually encourage you to just tell him. So to not wait for him to discover that you're not feeling well. It's nice that he notices and he gets it. That's great. But I think that it's actually more important for you to vocalize it. So you don't have to be like, hey, I feel like shit right now and I really, You can say to your fiance, your spouse, your brother, your boyfriend, whoever it is, speaking to everybody here, it's really good for you to articulate yourself and be upfront about it. So you may need to be very clear with him and say, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really hurting today. A thing that would really help me today is if you could unload the dishwasher, because I think all that physical work is going to be bad for me. If you can just get really clear and give him like a very actionable thing to do. A lot of people, a lot of men, but not all men and not all people, and not all people who do this are men or male identified. But a lot of times men want to fix things. They want a very actionable thing to do. I actually am like that myself. So I do really well when people tell me precisely what they want from me. So I think asking for what you want is great. Velva says her husband of 1 year rubs her feet and holds her close. Fantastic. Like, that's a great thing to do. It may not alleviate all your pain, but it may give you some relief, which I think is really important. Michelle says, I've even had one of my best friends come over and watch a movie with me in bed because I was in too much pain to sit up. Allowing people to help us is very difficult, but very beneficial. And not just to us, but to the person who helps us. I could not agree more with that. That's so right on the money. When we allow people to help us, we are helping them feel a sense of worth and a sense of value, that they're able to make us feel better in some small way even is super important for them too. And it helps you have a connection. Oh, I see a couple. Hey, Amanda from Scotland. Hello. I think I saw you jump on a minute ago, but there were so many comments came in all at the same time. I might have missed you, but hello. And Ngozi says her son knows the deal. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Ngozi? I'm just curious. Tell me if I got it right. Oh. So yes, identifying very clearly what you want from this holiday season and what you need and what you're able to give and to do for people is super critical, because once you're able to do that, then you're able to decide what you're going to commit to, what you're going to say yes to or say no to. And I encourage you to say no to a lot of things. I was talking with my best friend the other day, and they went to Christkindlmarkt, which in Chicago is like a big German Christmas festival downtown. And I go sometimes when I go on like a Tuesday during the day because I work for myself. So I can do that because I know that it's not that crowded. But even on those days, it's really crowded. So she went on like a Saturday with her kids and they couldn't even move through the crowd. And it was not fun. And a lot of people think that going to Chris Kindermart is like the funnest thing in Chicago in winter. If you go one time and you hate it, then you know you're not doing it again. And you are so within your right to tell other people, I'm not doing that again. And same goes with whatever holiday tradition your family likes to pursue. So if your family likes to go sledding and you know that it's going to give you a flare-up, say no to sledding. You can still go, you can still hold the thermos of hot cocoa, you can take pictures, you can cheer people on as they fall down the hill, or whatever, but you don't have to get on a sled. And you are allowed to set that boundary. I think a lot of times, a lot of us, especially women, have a really hard time setting those kinds of boundaries because we feel like we have to please people. We feel like we have to make it nice for people. And we don't need to do that. We need to take care of ourselves and pace ourselves. Those things are really, really important. A few final things I want to say. We're kind of getting close to when we would wrap up. I'm here to answer your questions. Anything I can do for you. We have about 10 more minutes. I want to answer any questions that you have. Before we do that, I want to remind you that my book, Chronic Babe 101, is on sale at Amazon, and I put the link in the comments. It's really a how-to guide for how to lead a kick-ass life. It's how to craft an incredible life beyond illness. There's tons of great instruction, interviews with guest experts. There are so many guest experts in here to help you out. Lots of personal stories and how-tos, and that is available at the website that I made for it at chronicbabe101.com or at chronicbabe.com or on Amazon. Actually, Paul, I didn't say this to him, but we did this last time. I'm going to say that whoever comments, we're going to go through the comments at the end and draw one random person who commented, and one random person who commented is going to get a free copy of my book. So if you're still here and you haven't commented yet, I would add a comment because we're going to draw one random name to get a free copy of my book. And in those comments, maybe you want to tell me what is the one thing you really hope to get out of the holidays? Like what is the thing you most want to enjoy this holiday season? And even if you say to me, I want to enjoy not being around people, that is just fine because you get to decide how you celebrate and how you move through this world. Mel says, at the moment, I'm struggling to get my housework done. I hate when I have to go shopping or do anything because once I've run around, I don't have the energy to come home and do housework. Your 12-year-old kid is very great. You know what? It's really lovely to have people to help us. And I think it's really important to value those people and tell them how much you value them. I think that's like really critical. And I'm glad you have that. I really am. Brittany says she doesn't want to be in pain. Oh, girl, I feel you. But we will probably be in pain and probably be tired. And that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So I am going to hope that you have less pain and that you less fatigue and that you have the energy and the good feeling you need to have fun. And I hope that even if you don't have all the pain, the energy that you need or want, that you have enough that you can do some stuff that you can have fun with. Let's see. Mary said she did all her shopping online to avoid the cold and masses of people. That is so smart. I'm going to do some of that too. Rhonda says, is this only for fibro people? No, I have fibromyalgia, but I also have a bunch of other stuff. And there are a bunch of people on here who have other things. So it's totally fine. A lot of the tips I've been talking about are helpful to anybody who has chronic pain or chronic illness. And Ngozi says the thing I would want most is to get out of this holiday is to have peace and quiet from negative energy. Oh my God, I feel you. Pamela says, I love being with my grandkids. I forget about my pain when I'm with them. Yes, I forget about my pain a lot when I'm hanging out with my friends' kids too, so there's this Buddhist concept of mudita, and mudita is about finding joy in the joy of others. And when I'm around my friends' kids, I am just like in mudito land because you can't not feel joyful with them decorating. That's why I have them over to decorate all my little trees around my house. If you haven't watched the whole video, I mentioned earlier that over at my Facebook page, I'll put the link to that right now. It's hard for me to type and talk at the same time. A few days ago, I did a tour of my house because I like to decorate for Christmas, and I was having a really big flare-up day, but I did a little tour around my house so you could see all my Christmas decorations because I felt like I should share them with everybody. So if you like what you see here, there's more. Just go to my Facebook page and you can watch that video. But yeah, having my friends' kids come over and do a lot of the decorating was really great because it saved me a lot of energy, and it was just super joyful and fun. Debbie says it's very helpful. Thank you. You're welcome, girl. Mary says she's got fibro, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus. Man, you are like a party in that body. You and me, girl. Another Debbie says one thing at a time. That's right. Rhonda says I want rest and relaxation and to hang with my husband. Girl, I want those same things. I think it's important to know what you want going into this holiday season and prioritize it. And I want to mention a couple other things just quickly about budgets. It's really important to stick to your budget this season. I know it's really hard. It's really tempting to want to get all the gifts for everybody and maybe to spoil yourself with a bunch of gifts. We are all struggling financially. I mean, it is really expensive to have chronic illness and chronic pain. And I just want you guys to take good care of your checkbooks and your finances too this holiday season because you need to be financially solid as much as you can. I have been through holiday seasons where I was broke-a-ty broke. And I have been through holiday seasons where there was abundance. And when you're broke-a-ty broke, it's really hard to enjoy anything. It's super extremely stressful. So I want you guys to take good care of yourselves. Scale back the gift giving. Hang on to some of that because you need to take care of yourselves. Candace says your birthday's on the 20th coming up. Congratulations, my birthday's on the 14th. Sagittarians. Oh, good. Lori says I don't feel alone with fibro and RA. Lori, I'm glad this is lifting you up. And like Rhonda has a bunch of other things too. Yeah, like a lot of us, actually, it's very common for us to have more than one thing if we have fibro. So you're definitely not alone. You're definitely not a weirdo. You're in good shape. We just have a couple more minutes. So I just want to remind everybody, if you've commented during the live broadcast, you're eligible to get a free copy of my book. We're going to do a drawing and one person will get a free copy of my book. If you're interested in the book, I really want you to go check it out. It's on Amazon. It's at chronicbabe101.com. There's the link. Michelle's birthday was on the 4th. Mwah, happy birthday, my friend. Mesa says, Mesa, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. I love my foul house of my daughters and my lovely dog, Junior. He's the joy of my life. Do you mean full? You might mean full. Or maybe foul. Maybe it's foul. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. Velva says, I'm just so tired and I spend more time with my family and my husband. I find peace in prayer and singing. Yeah, I love to sing. It really gives me a lot of joy. I love to sing Christmas carols. I love to listen to holiday music. I mean, I'm a Buddhist and I still think this stuff's pretty cool. I love the spirit of the season. I love getting together with people and celebrating. Like we're going to dinner with some friends tomorrow night. We're going to go caroling in their neighborhood. And they have a little kid, and it's like, we're going to go caroling for like half an hour. We're keeping it chill. So that way I can do the fun thing, but I don't exhaust myself for the rest of the weekend. Because life is busy, right? And we want to do the most that we can do. So I kind of feel like out of anything we've talked about today, boundaries and setting those boundaries both for other people and for ourselves is almost the most important thing, right? Because when we set those healthy boundaries, we're taking good care of ourselves and we're reserving that energy to do more stuff later. The last thing I want to do is put in the comments a link to where you can sign up for my newsletter. Make sure that link worked. Yes, it did. So I'm putting that in there because I do all kinds of announcements and giveaways, and I post videos and stuff. So when you're a newsletter subscriber to Chronic Babe, you get all those announcements. And I got some special stuff coming up. I got some pretty cool special stuff, like a pay what you can day for my ebook. I also do giveaways. In January, I'm also going to start a whole new video series I don't want you to miss. We do videos like this where I answer people's questions or come up with how-tos. So make sure you subscribe to the Chronic Babe newsletter. The link is there in the comments. It's an opportunity to make sure that you get news about the big stuff. And seriously, next year, big stuff. I have a couple big projects coming up that I'm very excited to announce. There's going to be a pay what you can day before the end of December. It's actually right around my birthday, so it's in about a week or so. I don't want you to miss that, so make sure you sign up. And if you, Debbie says, I love this. Thank you very much. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. You know, I have had fibromyalgia for 20 years, okay? And I know how much it sucks. And I know what it's like to have holidays ruined. And I know what it's like to just feel like life is just too much and you don't understand how you're going to ever have fun or be adventurous again. And I'm here to tell you that you will be and you can be, but it's going to take some work on your part, but it's totally doable. And I know that because I did it. And also I didn't just do it and I'm done. It's a process. It's like an ongoing practice. I do it every day. I do it every month, every year. I have times, last year, a year and a half ago, I was laid up. I couldn't do any work. I couldn't do anything. I'd lost access to my meds. I was in so much pain. I was a disaster. I was super depressed. I didn't know how I was going to survive. And now I'm here right now with you. So it's like kind of a roller coaster. And sometimes we have to just know that sometimes we're going to go down, but we're going to come back up. But I'm here because I believe in you and I know that you can. And I know that you can because I've done it and I know so many other people who've done it. And so many of my Chronic Babes, people in my membership group and people who just hang out in the Chronic Babe community, everybody's there to lift each other up and really offer a lot of positivity. We live with a lot of pain and frustration and negativity because of our condition. And I really want to make sure that I'm giving you guys some space for that positivity and the uplifting nature. It's the thing I feel like I was meant to do on this earth. So thanks for spending all your time with me. I really appreciate it. We've had so many people come through. I see a lot of people saying, yes, thanks for sharing. So positive. Thank you so much. Michelle says, thanks for the tips and the laughter. You're so welcome. Michelle, love you, girl. I'm so happy I got to spend this time with y'all. Every once in a while when I do a video like this, there are some people who will write me after and be like, I don't think you have fibromyalgia because people can't be as upbeat as you. So before I go, I just want to say, I totally have fibromyalgia. Don't be a doubter. I've got a huge 2 bins of medical receipts and paperwork to show you if you don't think I do. But I know that y'all know I do. But you can be positive and upbeat and still be sick. It's really possible. You guys didn't see me yesterday in my pajamas without lipstick on, miserable, crying. I mean, we all have those ups and downs, And trust me, if, if the nice people at this page keep asking me back to do these chats with y'all, if we have one scheduled and it's on a day when I'm in my pajamas, you're going to see me filming from bed. I'm going to put the laptop up on my pillow next to me and you're going to see me in my jammies because that's just how I roll. But when I can, I want to come to you with some brightness and some color because I think it's fun. So you guys have been great. I've gotten so many good questions. I hope I've given you as many answers as you can manage, as you can handle right now. I think I unloaded a lot of information on you. Don't forget to play the Dead Santa game. Okay, I tossed the thing over my shoulder. So, hey, Elizabeth, excuse me, we're just wrapping up. So Elizabeth, you just joined. You're going to have to come back around and watch the recording because we're going to end in just 1 minute. But the last thing I want to say is just that I hope that y'all get your Christmas wish or your Hanukkah wish or your Kwanzaa wish or whatever you're wishing for, or your agnostic wish. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm sorry. She says she can't manage her fibromyalgia pain anymore. There are things that can help, and I hope you get relief. And I wish all of you a very peaceful and low pain holiday season with a lot of joy and sparkles and lights and silliness. And in those moments that you think you don't have it in you, just remember this goofy face, because I'm here to cheer you on, okay? You guys take care, be as well as possible, be AWAP. Mwah. Happy holidays.